So Abdul Wahid, aka Gervonta Davis, he came out on Instagram giving a hint to who he may be fighting next. Tank posted one of the candidates of the knockout of the year of Arayo knocking out Chris Colbert, where Gervonta said, quote, "I'ma have to call you back. I'm asleep right now." End of the quote. Now, this couldn't have been a reaction to the fight since Gervonta posted this 4 to 5 days after the fight, after the knockout. Perhaps Gervonta was giving us a hint to who he may be fighting next, or he probably was just making fun of Chris Colbert. However, Gervonta is not the guy to do something like that since Gervonta doesn't have history with Chris Colbert. Me personally, I never heard Gervonta beef with Chris Colbert or say anything bad about him. Due to that, I have to lean more toward Gervonta, giving his fans a hint that Arayo may end up being an option for him to fight next. After all, Arayo Valenzuela came off his biggest win, and he looked spectacular in the rematch with Chris Colbert. It wasn't just the knockout, it was also how Arayo was dominating Chris Colbert. The way he was throwing the combinations and taking them angles, that was highly impressive. I mean, Arayo was looking like Lomachenko in there, and due to the fact the fight was a title eliminator for the WBA, the same title Gervonta is the current champion of, at least the WBA regular champion, that makes Arayo a real possibility. They both PBC fighters, they both fight in the lightweight division. More importantly, Arayo just won a title eliminator for the WBA, the same title Gervonta is the champion of. So you best believe Gervonta is keeping his eyes on what's going on in his own division. We all know Tank doesn't have an opponent yet for his next fight. So if this is not a hint by Gervonta to see what the reception of this fight is going to be like, then most likely Gervonta already has something cooking, and this is a way to let that opponent know he better sign the contract. Perhaps whoever Gervonta is negotiating with is demanding more money, so you never know at the moment in time. However, what I'm hearing though is that Gervonta can possibly fight Pitbull Cruz in a rematch to launch Amazon Prime pay-per-view. If they can't get Gervonta to agree on the money and the fight, then the backup plan is to have the rematch between Crawford and Errol Spence to be the first card to launch PBC on Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Only time will tell. Last but not least, apparently, the problem seemed to be, like always, the money. Gervonta wants more money to fight on pay-per-view. However, apparently, PBC is not offering him what Gervonta feels he's worth. Gervonta even came out on Twitter stating, "Where is the money?" Then he followed up by threatening PBC, claiming that he may end up fighting on another network. Tank said, quote, "Al was supposed to call me last night, but he didn't. Probably going over the deal with Steven that nobody told me about. So if you see me elsewhere, you know what's up." End of the quote. Clearly, there's a money problem between Gervonta and Al Haymon's PBC. Gervonta is demanding more money to fight on pay-per-view. But here is the problem. If Gervonta fights at Devin Haney, for example, then he's going to get offered more money than whatever he's expecting. Remember, they already offered Gervonta more than $20 million guaranteed to fight Devin Haney plus pay-per-view. So after pay-per-view, Gervonta can easily walk away with $50 million plus. That's the worst case scenario. On the other hand, if Gervonta settles with a PBC fighter such as Pitbull Cruz rematch, Arayo, or Frank Martin, then he's going to have to bet on himself and accept a low guarantee. I'm talking about the same amount of guarantees he has been accepting, such as $3 million, no more than $5 million, plus pay-per-view. So if Gervonta does around 200 to 300,000 pay-per-view buys, he's still going to get paid over $10 million to fight a Pitbull Cruz, an Arayo, or Frank Martin. That's good money, but that's not good enough for Tank, especially after the Ryan fight. Gervonta at the moment in time wants the guarantee. He wants the money up front. However, PBC can't afford to give him that if he's not going to fight a Devin Haney, for example. Therefore, we shall see what Abdul Wahid, aka Gervonta, decides to do next and who he chooses to fight. Only time will tell. In the meantime, if El Rayo can't get the Gervonta fight next, it will be smart on his behalf to go after future possible Gervonta opponents in order to eliminate them. For example, a Pitbull Cruz, a Frank Martin, even Edwin De Los Santos rematch. All of these fights will get him one step closer to Gervonta. On top of all of that, since Devin Haney vacated all of his titles at lightweight, I'm pretty sure El Rayo could end up being in a title eliminator fight to fight for a vacant title, since the WBA and the WBO titles are currently vacant. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.